Nelson Nash, the man who wrote the book on infinite banking concepts, said something I want to open with today. He said, if you understand the grocery store, the rest of learning how to become your own banker is a piece of cake. That's a bold claim, but after years with working with families on this concept, I believe he's right. So today, we're going to dive into the grocery store. I'm Jared with Green Dot Wealth, where we help families build generational wealth through the infinite banking concepts. The grocery store example comes right out of Nelson Nash's book, Becoming Your Own Banker, and I use it with anybody who wants to learn about infinite banking concepts. Because it does something no product explanation can do. It makes you think like an owner, and that shift in thinking is the whole game. Let's say you've decided to open a grocery store. Before a single customer walks through the door, before you sell them the first item, you have years of work and an enormous amount of capital in front of you. You need a location, and not just any location, the right location. High traffic, accessible, visible. Real estate like that costs dearly. You're negotiating leases, buying property, and the clock is running on that investment before you've ever made a dollar. Then you build it out. The interior has to be clean, organized, and inviting. The exterior has to draw people in. You're thinking about lighting, signage, layout, refrigeration units. You're shopping competitors on prices because customers will not, and should not, pay more at your store than they should somewhere else. You have to be competitive or you don't survive. Now you need staff, people who will show up, treat customers well, keep the shelves stocked, and represent what you're building. You're hiring, training, managing, all before you've generated a single dollar of revenue. This is merely a thought exercise of what it's like to build something real. You're in the hole before you even open the doors, not because you've made mistakes, but because that's what it costs to build something worth having. Now, here's the question worth sitting with. Knowing all of that, would you walk away? Would you look at the years of preparation, the capital required, the timeline before profitability, and say, this isn't worth it? Of course not, because you're thinking like an owner. You're thinking long range. You understand that the investment precedes the return always, and that families who build real, lasting things are the ones who operate in that gap. That mindset is the foundation of everything we're going to talk about today. Now the store is open. Customers are coming in, and let's zoom in on one item, a can of peas. It costs the store 57 cents to put the can of peas on the shelf. They sell it for 60 cents. On a single can of peas, the store makes 3 cents. Now think about everything that went into getting that store open, keeping it running, the land, the building, the sign, the advertising, the payroll and benefits for the employees, the utilities, legal fees, and accounting, all of it financed, borrowed capital carrying interest that has to be repaid. With 3 cents of margin on a can of peas, the store has to turn that can 15 times a year just to break even. 17 times to be viable, 20 times if the owner wants to retire early. That's not a comfortable margin. That is a business operating on razor-thin returns with an enormous amount of capital deployed, an enormous amount of overhead to maintain, and a relentless need to keep that inventory moving. And buried inside the price is that can of peas. Inside every item on every shelf is a financing cost. The cost of capital that bought the land, built the store, stocked the inventory. That cost gets passed along, layer by layer, to the customer. This is Nash's foundational point. The banking function is embedded in every transaction in the entire economy. It's in the peas. It's in everything you buy. You're paying a financing cost constantly, invisibly, whether you realize it or not. The only variable is who captures that profit. Right now, for most people, the answer is someone else. Now here's a part about the grocery store that I think about the most. Imagine the store is up and running. It's yours. You built it. And one afternoon, your spouse walks in through the back door, grabs a can of peas off the shelf, and walks right back out the back door. No transaction, no receipt, just takes the peas. Now, it's your store, your peas, your spouse. Technically, you could argue there's nothing wrong with what just happened. It's your business. You can do whatever you want. Except you can't. Not if you want the business to survive. Those peas leaving through the back door never generated revenue. They didn't contribute to the 15 times you need to turn it to break even. And here's the part that stings. Goods leaving out the back door don't get taxed the way a sale does, which means the books don't reflect reality, and the business starts to operate on the foundation that isn't honest. More than all of that, if the owner is willing to take from the business for personal use without accountability, what does that signal to the staff, to the culture, to the integrity of the whole operation? The human instinct is understandable. I own this. I should be able to do what I want with it. But the instinct, left unchecked, will quietly hollow everything you've built. This is precisely the principle at the heart of infinite banking concepts. Nash calls it being an honest banker. When you build a pool of capital through a properly structured, dividend-paying whole life insurance contract, that capital becomes your private banking system. And when you borrow from it for a car, a home repair, a business investment, anything, you have to have a plan to pay it back. If you were going to pay $500 a month on a car loan to the bank, you should pay $500 a month or more back to your own policy loan. Same discipline, same schedule, same commitment. Just because you own the banking system, much like the grocery store, you can't steal the can of peas. The families who truly understand this strategy are the ones that take this responsibility seriously, who treat their own system with the same integrity they'd give an outside lender. They understand that money flowing back into the policy isn't a burden. It's how business stays healthy and strong. So let's put it all together. What does this mean? The grocery store owner thinks long range. They invest years and significant capital before seeing a return. They build something not because it's easy or immediately gratifying, but because they understand that real wealth is built, not bought. A properly structured, dividend-paying, whole life insurance contract works the same way. On average, it takes 5 to 7 years before the cash value equals or exceeds the premiums you've paid in. For a lot of people, that timeline is a deal breaker. They want results now. But someone who has thought through the grocery store example, someone who has sat with what it actually takes to build something durable, understands that this is exactly what building a branch of the family bank looks like. The investment precedes the return, always. And once that system is built, once the system is open and running, it has to be operated with integrity. You borrow with the plan to repay. You treat your own capital with the same discipline you'd give any outside obligation. You don't steal the peas. Because you're not just managing money, you're running a bank, your bank. And how you run it determines what it becomes, for you and for every generation that comes after you. Nash was right. The grocery store example. The rest really is a piece of cake. The question is whether you're ready or not to think like an owner. If this example landed today, if the grocery store cracked something open, the best and next step is to go read Becoming Your Own Banker by Nelson Nash. It's short, you can read it in a weekend, and it will take a portion of what we've covered today and build it into a complete philosophy that changes how you think about money at a fundamental level. Read it, sit with it, and when you're ready to talk about what building your own branch of your family bank looks like, contact me at green.wealth.com, where you can schedule a free 30-minute discovery call. No pressure, no pitch, just an honest conversation about your situation and if this makes sense for your family. I'm Jared with Green.Wealth, and I'll see you next week.